morning, and welcome to Young Thieves Report. I'm Jessica Taylor.
And I'm Andrew Grefe. We're in Midland at the Civic Arena, and we'll also be visiting parts of the community center next door.
On today's show, we'll meet some local kids that are developing their own pictures and talk to a kid from Michigan who models for Calvin Klein.
We'll also visit a family from Saginaw with a basement full of trains and hit the slopes at Mount Holly to see what snowboarding is all about.
I heard you fell down like 20 times learning how to snowboard for that story.
I wasn't counting, but learning to snowboard isn't easy. At least I didn't get hurt. Speaking of getting hurt, there's a program at the hospital here in Midland that involves some special volunteers. David Haloran has our story.
At the Mid-Michigan Medical Center in Midland, these dogs are not turned away at the door. The hospital welcomes them as volunteers, and patients look forward to their visits.
Maybe they were a little bit lonely or a little bit bored, but then the dogs show up and you hear it kind of trickles down the hallways. The dogs are here. And so then when they walk in, they get a nice little visit.
For Rachel, who had been in traction for a couple weeks, having the dogs visit each Monday has been great. Now that she's in a cast, the dogs can actually get on her bed with her. There are 10 dogs here who are specially trained and nationally registered as therapy dogs. These carefully selected dogs are gentle, friendly, and very well behaved.
They were very good. I think Corky tried to lick me, but I didn't mind that.
Corky and Murphy love to come to the hospital. When I go home and get Corky, I say, Corky, you want to go to the hospital and visit? And her ears come right up, and she loves the children. She especially loves children.
The patients and the staff see the therapy dogs as a relief from lying in bed.
Sometimes the patients are here for a long time, and the dogs provide diversion. They bring back memories. The patients smile. They start giggling or laughing. They start talking about their own pet that they might have at home. They just love the dogs coming and visiting with them.
For a kid like Brittany, who spent the night away from her own dogs, this visit was a welcome change from the hospital routine.
I think it's been good for her. I'm sure she misses her dogs at home. They're not as quiet as these dogs are, but it's been a good experience.
People that we visit really seem to enjoy meeting the different dogs, and there's always a dog of the right size, shape, hair length for them.
Having these four-legged volunteers around may be the spoonful of sugar that makes the medicine and treatments around here go down a bit better, which helps to make the doctor's jobs easier. These dogs can also do things that doctors can't. Lift the spirits of patients throughout the hospital.
Kyle had surgery this morning, and he has been feeling pretty bad. And this is the first time I've seen Kyle smile today, so I guess that's a pretty good advantage. It's neat to see him smile and neat to see the dogs acting so well and him being able to just put a bright look on his face that he hasn't had since he's been in here this morning.
Another happy patient. It's all in a day's work for these special dogs. From Mid-Michigan Medical Center in Midland, I'm David Halloran reporting for YPR.
That program, which they call the Cosmic Canine Cure, has received a lot of attention from other hospitals. And they're now starting similar groups at hospitals in Bay City, Saginaw, and Flint.
Hockey is very popular here in Midland. Every week, over 500 kids play, and at the Saginaw Bay Ice Arena, there's even more. Dean Holden talked with one coach and his team and has their story.
These kids are part of a growing trend, ice hockey. In some areas, there are long waiting lists to get on a team. Here at the Saginaw Bay Ice Arena, there are a lot of kids who will play on the same ice. On any week, over 600 kids will skate here, and that number is growing all the time. The reason may be the strong pro and semi-pro teams in the area, but whatever the original reason that brings them to the rink, it's the game itself that brings them back.
It's fun and it's very physical.
When I was a little kid, I enjoyed watching the pros and I wanted to play hockey.
I just play hockey for the challenge of it, and it's just fun.
Part of the fun of the game is having a good coach, and these kids definitely like theirs. His name is Tom Kerr. He's a 14-year veteran of coaching ice hockey and has a kid of his own on the team.
Hockey, for one, is probably the fastest sport on earth. It's a game of constant motion. They want to come and play with friends of theirs. They want to have fun, and they want to learn and acquire new skills. Those are the three reasons that players play hockey.
Shoot the puck.
Yes. From the Saginaw Bay Ice Arena, I'm Dean Holden reporting for YPR.
There it is. Yeah, finish. Here we go.
Like with any sport, the key to having fun is to have a good coach, and it looks like that team does.
Later in the show, we'll see how well that works in Little League Baseball. But right now, we have to take a break. And when we come back, we'll meet some kids who are developing a hobby and their own pictures.
Welcome back to Young People's Report. We've moved to the Midland Community Center where they have lots of activities and classes for kids of all ages.
One of the few things they don't offer here is photography, but we found some local kids who are having fun developing their own pictures and creating a yearbook for their school. Katie Travis has their story.
These kids here at St. John's Evangelist School are making a yearbook from the beginning. They have been taking pictures throughout the year. But the best part, according to the kids, is developing the pictures.
I enjoy mostly developing the film, and I like it because we're working with chemicals, and it's kind of a neat thing to do.
That back is in the middle, right?
That's right.
I like developing the pictures because it's fun, and I like working with the different kinds of chemicals. Jud's gonna splash, get your goggles on.
Carefully, don't splatter it.
Because light damages the undeveloped paper, a special red light is all they have to see by while printing their pictures.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mary Schubert, a parent volunteer, started this after-school program to expose kids to something new.
We've taught them how to use their camera, how to load their camera, what's a good picture, what's not a good picture, how to develop film and prints, and how to go from start to finish.
And the kids say that being involved is a good thing.
I like developing my own pictures and taking my own pictures because it's fun. I like taking my own pictures and taking the pictures of the basketball games.
The deadline for the company that's making their yearbook is coming up soon, and the kids are starting to lay out the pictures.
We're working on laying out pictures for the yearbook and picking out more pictures so that we can show students and what activities we have done all year.
I'm laying out the pictures of the yearbook of the whole school because I think it's important that everybody in the school should be in the yearbook. The kids take a lot of pride in the responsibility that they have.
It means a lot because it'll give the whole school good memories about the year.
It feels very neat because then you can tell people that you did something, that you put that in the yearbook.
But more important is what the kids will come away with.
It's really fun and you learn a lot going through all the basic steps of making pictures, and it can give you a lifetime job.
From St. John's Evangelist School in Essexville, I'm Katie Travis reporting for YPR.
One good thing about putting together the school yearbook, you know that the yearbook staff picture will look good.
It may help, but there's no requirement to look good for the yearbook. To be a model, it's a different story. One Michigan kid put a pencil and paper together with a Detroit photographer and got a lucky break.
Yeah, good. Beautiful. Hold it right there. Don't move. Hold it. Good.
For 10-year-old Chaz Grabke, this has become a major part of his life. Last year, he became one of 3 kids to model for a new line of clothing by Calvin Klein. Since then, his picture has appeared in magazines all over the country.
He used to get out of the bathroom and he would pose in front of the mirror every night when he gets out of the bathroom. And he would say, look at me, Dad. He goes, Calvin Klein, Calvin Klein.
Chaz had a dream, and his dream came true, and that was great, but it's not as easy as it sounds. He was very lucky in the job that he got.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Why?
Because I get all the attention, and I guess I get all the girls.
Chaz's first break started with pictures like these and a lucky break. Lisa Spindler, a one-time talent scout turned professional photographer, saw him at an art fair and instantly knew he had potential.
I noticed he had his own style, and he just had a look that was very unique.
A couple years after Chaz met Lisa, he sat down and wrote a letter to fashion designer Calvin Klein saying he wanted to be the first kid model.
Dear Calvin Klein, I always liked your ads for your clothes and underwear. I was wondering why you don't make kids Calvin Klein clothes.
My name is Chazare, and I am 9 years old. I would like to be your first Calvin Klein model for kids, and I want to know what you think. Would you please write me back or call my friend Lisa? See you soon, Chazare.
Ever since then, Chaz has spent a lot of time in front of cameras, and he's been signed to exclusive agency contracts with the I Group here in Michigan, as well as top agencies in New York and Los Angeles. I was hoping that as a professional, Chaz might be able to give me some pointers on being a good model. One of the things he mentioned was how he prepares for serious looks.
Well, you gotta pretend like you're gonna beat someone up, so you go.
Oh, you guys not to laugh. Great.
As it turns out, being a good model isn't all that hard. It's just that some people look better in the process.
Look at each other.
In Detroit, I'm Jessica Taylor reporting for YPR.
Since that story, Chaz has done a lot of auditions for movies and TV shows, but so far he hasn't signed any other contracts.
So, what do you think? Am I ready for a modeling career?
From what I've heard, you've got a better chance at that than competitive snowboarding.
We have to take a break. But when we come back, I'll take you skiing and snowboarding at Mount Holly.
Here at the Midland Community Center, you can find all sorts of fun indoors when the weather is bad. But for some people, cold weather and lots of snow is a good thing.
That's right. Michigan is a great place for sports every season of the year. In winter, while some people go sledding, there's a much more fun way to enjoy the hills around here. This is Mount Holly, one of the best places in mid-Michigan for snowboarding and skiing. And yes, it's more expensive than sledding.
I like skiing because it's funner and there's more slopes and the slopes are bigger.
And for the price of a good meal, you can spend a day on the slopes.
I like going down the hills and just having fun.
Almost anyone can learn to ski. Like at most places, here at Mount Holly, they give lessons to kids of all ages. Most people start on the easy slopes, like these, and work their way up. Skiing the hardest slopes means taking a ski lift to the top, and the Mach 1 is one of the best.
Whew, this is pretty fast.
It will get you to the start of an almost 1,600-foot run in about a minute and a half. From there, you can go down one of 16 runs. Of course, Mount Holly isn't just for skiing. All 18 trails are also open for snowboarding.
Well, I skied when I was little, but I like snowboarding. I think it's more fun. Like when we hit jumps and we do more tricks and stuff.
It's more fun and exhilarating. You don't have to worry about getting hurt as much as you do in skiing, and it's just funner. I used to ski, but snowboarding has more fun, do more tricks, more jumps.
I've been falling all over the place, but I'm starting to get the hang of it. I can almost stop, I can almost turn.
Harder tricks cause more harder falls if you mess up.
There's skiers, they want a new experience on the snow, and then there's other people like skateboarders who would never consider skiing, but they'll come out and try snowboarding because they've seen it on TV or in a skateboard magazine.
Since it's so popular, I decided to try snowboarding, and I asked around about what I needed to know.
You should know how to carve. That's the main thing. If you know how to carve, then you got it.
And what exactly does that mean?
Carve, you just gotta lean into it. But at the beginning, you just have to put your arms out and lean into it and just start.
That sounded too easy, and I asked Mark Bondarenko from the Mount Holly Ski School to give me a few tips.
We're all set for the first part.
Okay.
Now, stand up.
The first part was just getting around with only one foot attached to the board.
felt pretty good about that. Some kids never take their back foot out, and that can look pretty weird trying to get back to the tow rope.
People tend to learn snowboarding quite a bit faster than they do skiing. The first few days may be kind of rough, the first 3 or 4 days, but after that you learn very fast.
Try this one more time.
Getting started was easy, but learning to turn was a lot harder. Mark said that once you get the basics, the rest is easier to learn than skiing, but I was still learning to turn.
Mark said a lot of people have the same problem. If they dig their toes in, they fall forward, and if they dig their heels in, they fall backward. I found that even standing up can be hard.
Compared to skiing, snowboarding is a lot more fun. It's also a lot harder. From the slopes of Mount Holly, I'm Andrew Grefe, reporting for YPR.
If you've never been on a snowboard, take a lesson. Almost half of the people who don't injure themselves, mostly with sprained wrists.
Falling can be embarrassing, and it was mentioned a bunch of times by kids we spoke to at Elms Road Elementary in Swartz Creek. We asked them what their most embarrassing moment was for the YPR question of the week.
The most embarrassing moment of my whole life was when I was at a party and I fell down the stairs into a crowd.
While I was playing on the playground on the top of the Eagle's Perch, I fell off into this mud, and I had to walk to the office, and my whole side of my face was covered with mud.
When I was in my aunt's pool and my cousin Shannon, she was underwater and I was underwater and she pulled down my bottoms. I did a flip and I landed on my arm, I broke my arm, and everybody was laughing at me. When I was at soccer practice, it was raining. We were passing the ball, and somebody passed the ball to me. I tripped over it and fell in the mud, and everybody was laughing at me, including the parents.
When I was at the beach, my bikini top went up, and everyone was looking at me.
I was running on a flat pavement road, and there were no bumps, and I tripped over my feet, and everybody was running by me, and they laughed at me.
On Halloween, I was a raptor. I couldn't see through my mask, and I ran into a tree.
I started dressing up, and it was a family reunion at home. My mom opened the door, and I was naked, and everyone seen me and started laughing.
While I was playing, I slipped on the grass, and I fell into a pile of mud, and everyone was calling Mudhead to me.
When I was doing the Christmas carol, my tights fell down, and everybody was laughing at me, and I ran off the stage screaming, and I woke up the baby, and it was real baby Jesus.
I was at football practice, and I tackled my own teammate.
If you have a suggestion for question of the week or a story idea for YPR, we'd like to hear about it. Send your ideas to us at Young People's Report, NBC 25, P.O. Box 250, Clio, Michigan 48420. You can also send it by email to weyIprg@nbc25.net. Tell us your ideas, and they could be our next story here on Young People's Report.
One story that a lot of people suggested is a sport that both of us play, Little League Baseball. We have to take a break, but when we come back, we'll follow one group of kids from tryouts to the end of the season.
Welcome back to Young People's Report. This is one of two pools here at the Midland Community Center. It even has a water slide.
An indoor pool is a great place to be when it's cold outside, but it's also time to register for spring and summer sports like soccer and baseball.
Just like the big leagues, the coaches for Saginaw Township's South Little League get together each year to draft new players. The new prospects here are all kids, as young as 5 years old, and they're all hoping to catch a coach's eye.
They check for the batting, the catching, the throwing, then they see what team if they want them or not.
The good players usually go first, and they usually look at skill and talent and self-esteem and team spirit, I think.
Tryouts and draft are only the beginning of the season for coaches. We asked some of them how hard the draft is compared to the rest of the season.
Really, it's the hardest. The rest of the season's a piece of cake. You go out and you teach the kids the game of baseball, played the right way, sportsmanship, and that's the fun part.
This is probably the hardest part. The easy part's when you get the kids out on the field
and get them throwing the ball and swinging the bat. This is really difficult.
But there was one coach who disagreed, a new coach to the league with only 3 players returning from last year.
This is the easy part. Actually, most of it is all pretty easy. It's just the time, trying to get the time to, coach.
So while some of the coaches took lots of notes and wrote down lots of numbers, Rock Modlin took very few. By the actual draft, some coaches had computerized the notes and sorted the kids by their scores. Rock was a bit less prepared.
Should I have another tryout?
In fact, he was worried that because his team was mostly new, they couldn't even compete.
I'm picking a whole brand new team, and we're going to have a couple teams here that ain't even going to compete in this league.
Fortunately, the results of the draft are not just names on paper. They're a baseball team, groups of 12 kids who play baseball. And it doesn't matter how they looked at tryouts, what matters is how they look on the field.
Go, go!
Well, everybody thought we were going to be the worst team because we were real small, but we came out and just started winning them all because we have lots of confidence in each other and we're playing really hard.
9 out of 10 times, the team that works the hardest will win. And that's really what these kids have done. They've worked hard, and their record shows it, and they're also a great bunch of kids. I mean, you can't ask for a better team, and, I'm not just saying it. That's the way they are.
All right, John, baby!
Woo! Near the end of the season, Rock's team is 14-2, which brings us back to something Rock said at tryouts.
You go by gut feeling. That's about all you can go by in this, and don't worry about it. Then whatever team you end up with, you play the best you can.
From Saginaw Township's South Little League fields, I'm Sean O'Neill, reporting for YPR.
Just like the hockey story earlier in this show, it's very important to have a good coach for baseball.
Until the season starts, an indoor hobby may be a good idea. Addison and Peil found one family in Saginaw that has fun working together.
The sound of feet running down the stairs is not unusual for any house. But here at the Zamonics, the kids aren't running for TV or video games, they're headed for their trains. Model trains are not as popular as they once were, and while many boys once dreamed of having one, you can't even find them in most toy stores.
Anybody that comes over to play with or just sees the model trains would find them fun and amazing, but they would miss out on the most important part about this layout, building it. For the Zamonics, it's more than just a train table. It's a never-ending group project.
I think one of the most important things that they have gained is time spent with their dad. All 3 of them have developed interests because of the trains.
My dad has gotten me interested in lots of hobbies, and this got me started. I've really gotten interested in art after we did this, and it's just a really fun hobby to me.
Not only does this family have fun and work together, but they learn a lot in the process.
I'd like to think that I've passed along to my kids the ability to create, the ability to know that if you focus your sights upon something, that the sky is the limit, that they'll always have that creative edge, and they can take the trains a step further, and they can apply it to electronics, they can apply it to computers.
My dad has taught me about electric things and how to solder and things like that.
I like building cities with cars and running the trains and kind of helping my dad.
I think it's sad that more fathers don't take more time to spend with their youngsters. Because if we lose that kid inside of us, we lose it all. And for a young person to be denied that creativity or not to have a chance to even explore that creativity or get that one-on-one time with their folks is just, to me, just a sin.
From Saginaw Township, I'm Addison Peil, reporting for YPR.
There are lots of hobbies you can try that don't cost as much and don't take up the entire basement. Drop by your local hobby shop and see what interests you.
We'd love to show you all the things you could do, but that could take hours and we're out of time.
Thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.